Well, it exploded all up in his face. Todd Rogers is no longer a record holder of any video game, which is a shame if he actually did have any legitimate records on any video games, but who knows at this point because of such blatant disregard to actually documenting video or photographic proof for evidence of any such records. And do I blame Todd Rogers? Yes, partially it is his fault. Obviously, if you lie about something and get caught lying, you're going to pay the penalty. You know, you're going to suffer the consequence. You know, he was part of that pro team in the early 80s, that U.S. national video game team created by Walter Day, who obviously is also the founder of Twin Galaxies, which holds all these records. So you have this conflict of interest happening right at the get-go. I really have to give credit to those who were persistent in investigating this further. I mean, you have Wolf King Morrow back then demonstrating that the Barnstormer record that Todd Rogers had was impossible, and then most recently the whole, you know, there was a lot of videos talking about Dragster for the 2800, and you have Ben Heck, you have Todd Rogers on the Ben Heck show, you know, kind of saying, you know, Ben Heck is a really smart guy and he can't get to that number. And then you have Apollo with that video that has over 1 million views talking about how all of the records that Todd Rogers had were so ridiculously above those in second place, and how like all of his records were referee records and they weren't like video or photographic evidence. So that's just insane. If you guys have ever seen King of Kong, A Fistful of Quarters, if you haven't seen it, please check it out. But in that movie, in that documentary, you can see how Steve Wiebe trying to go for the Donkey Kong world record. Obviously, his record and Billy Mitchell's record are no longer the world record. But at that time, when Steve Wiebe's trying to go for the record, he doesn't have the, you know, the friendly relationship with Walter Day and Twin Galaxies. So he's trying to set a record on his own machine at his house. And then you have Brian Koo coming in saying, "Oh, this machine, you know, I don't think it's legitimate," just because he finds out that the Donkey Kong machine Steve Wiebe was playing on was from, you know, someone that he has a nemesis with. I can't remember his name right now. So then, you know, Steve Wiebe goes to Fun Spot in the Northeast and he plays live. He gets the Donkey Kong world record live. And that's what Walter Day said that you needed to do. You need to do this live. And kudos to him. But then, I don't know if it was for dramatic effect, but then supposedly and miraculously, this video arrives, which is grainy as heck in the first place. And this grainy video sent by Billy Mitchell to Walter Day shows Billy Mitchell having an even higher score on videotape, and which is ridiculous because they wouldn't let Steve Wiebe have the record on videotape, but then they let Billy Mitchell have this record stand on videotape and not live. So it just kind of shows like how Walter Day and how those referees back then, if you had a friendship with the referee or with Walter Day or with someone in Twin Galaxies, you know there was a lot of shady crap going on. I wonder what Todd Rogers must feel right now. I mean, he's had these records for many, many years, and as of recently, I mean, there are a lot of people out there that figured out that, you know, these records are probably not legit. And you have Guinness, which is the world record, that is like the creme de la creme of world records, using Twin Galaxies. You know, Guinness doesn't verify the world records themselves. They actually relied on Twin Galaxies for the legitimate world records. So you have Guinness pretty much saying, you know, this record doesn't exist anymore regarding the Dragster. So the good news is that Twin Galaxies expunged all of Todd Rogers' records. He's not allowed to submit any more scores, I believe. But I don't think that's enough. I really think that Twin Galaxies needs to create a standard, and if they did have a standard, it's not good enough. They need to go through every record. They need to pull out all the evidence for every record and go on from here, because if Twin Galaxies just continues to do this shady crap, you know, oh, you got a world record? I don't need to see it, let me just write it down. All right, there you go, you have the world record, congratulations. That crap has got to stop. It is good that Twin Galaxies took a step in the right direction and banned Todd Rogers for life and expunged all his records, but how does a company proceed to, you know, have a good reputation after this? And after they were found out, they didn't do anything before, like all these videos started coming out, and even though these world records looked ridiculous and ludicrous to begin with. So what happens when a normal company, a CEO makes a mistake, or the president makes a mistake and the stock plunges, or, you know, they do something that, you know, is bad for the reputation of the company? They usually get fired or they step down. And I'm wondering, you know, Walter Day, I don't know if he's still part of Twin Galaxies. I know he founded Twin Galaxies, but it may be a step in the right direction if he would step down and allow Twin Galaxies to continue without him, so that hopefully, you know, these world records would stand and mean something. Because the way things have been going, you know, if you have other people that may have done the same thing that Todd Rogers did, how do you know? Unless they go through every single world record. So maybe Walter Day should step down, maybe some people should step down, and other people should step up and create a, you know, conclusive guideline on submitting world records. And it should be that, and it should be equal for everyone. And they should go through all their old records, every single freaking one of them, and find the evidence saying, you know, this person has this world record. And if they can't find the evidence, they have to look into that further. So they're going to have a lot of work hours and man hours going to do that. But I really think that if you want to really believe Twin Galaxies and their records, they need to do something like that. So what do you guys think, man? Todd Rogers having his records expunged, I think that is legitimate. And Walter Day still running Twin Galaxies, if he's still there, do you think that should still happen? I don't have any world records myself. If you are a record holder, what do you guys think? And even if you're not a world record holder, I mean, what do you think about all this insane stuff happening with Todd Rogers lately? Just let me know in the comments section below. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. I'm Brendan, aka Mr. Weaverface. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I totally appreciate it. Take care.